Good afternoon, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People. Today is September 24th, 2018, and we are on the eve of the Trump speech at the United Nations General Assembly, where he is going to be unveiling the peace deal of the century. We have this incredible year that we have been watching from the Revelation 12 sign, September of 2017, the Trump declaration of Jerusalem as the eternal capital of Israel in December of 2017. And then we had the 70th anniversary of Israel in April and in May. And from there, we've had prophetic events happening all year. We've had terrible natural disasters, world catastrophes that have been taking place all across the globe, the escalation towards war, the conflict between the nations, and now we have the United Nations General Assembly that is going to be unveiling the peace deal of the century. We are in prophetic times. But I want to share a warning with you tonight, especially those who are following Scott Clarke's channel and Scott Clarke's teaching about the rapture on the Feast of Trumpets. Because Scott Clarke put out a video a week ago that has 230,000 views. He went through a 20-minute presentation. I absolutely agree that the Feast of Trumpets is on October 10th. So we are in agreement that the Feast of Trumpets is October 10th. And so he puts forth this incredible video that with the sign of Revelation chapter 12 last year, September 23rd, we can see that from the celestial clock, the new moon in Virgo, while the sun is also in Virgo, is the celestial sign of the Feast of Trumpets. So we agree that the Feast of Trumpets is October 10th. Okay, and I agree with him, and there are many people that disagree. There are other people that have the feast days in September. I have been sharing since the middle of August that we should be looking to October. Okay, so we're in agreement on that, but okay, this is 230,000 people who are watching this video and getting their hopes up for the expectation of a possible rapture event on the Feast of Trumpets. But in this next video, Scott's thoughts on the October surprise, where Scott goes into a number of questions about some doctrines he was sharing, about the possibilities for rapture in 2018, and he comes out and says clearly that rapture is not in 2018. He comes out and says clearly that the rapture is not in 2018. So what is Scott Clarke promoting? Well, he's promoting that whenever the rapture does happen, it must happen on the Feast of Trumpets. Because he says, I don't know if it's this year or maybe next year or any year, but it will happen on the Feast of Trumpets. This is what Scott Clarke is promoting. And so, but in this next video, Scott comes out and says that rapture is not in 2018. So, for those who are following Scott and hoping and looking for a rapture event in 2018, he's actually promoting that 2018 is not the year for the rapture. So what does this mean? And why is this important that I share this warning with you? Because for those who are expecting the rapture to occur on the Feast of Trumpets, once October 10th and 11th goes by, then according to Scott Clarke, you have at least one more year to wait. See, this is a trap. This is a complete and total trap for those who are following the line of thinking that the Feast of Trumpets is the only option for the rapture event. Okay? So, if you want to see what Scott said and listen carefully to what he said in this video right here.
Started my channel.
Okay? I'm not going to let it play here because the audio does not come through real well on my phone. But click on that video if you want to listen to Scott's words at the 4-minute mark. You want to watch or listen to a short clip before that and a short clip after that. Well, he comes out and says, if you want to understand the context of what he's saying, but he said it's not in 2018. Rapture is not in 2018. So what is the danger here? For those who are following the line of thinking that the Feast of Trumpets is the only option for rapture, and it doesn't happen this year, then you've got at least another year to wait. See? But what I have been sharing is that the Feast of Trumpets is not the Feast of the Rapture. It's the Day of Atonement. The Day of Atonement, let's take a look at my channel here, and I'll show you what I've been sharing. Now, I do want to tell you we have received wonderful blessings over the last week or so, and I shared a testimony video earlier today. The Fletcher's trial of Job is over. I really invite you to watch that. It's a 58-minute video, but it's full of testimonies and amazing confirmations that the Lord is blessing us here at Bridge of Love Home, and that he is here with us. He is here with us, hearing our prayers, answering our prayers, miracle after miracle that the Lord has done in our lives here at Bridge of Love Home down here in Yucatan, Mexico, and in our lives as a family, Martha and I, and we're so grateful to the Lord for all his blessings. And so we have the idea of the scapegoat, which is Azazel, which is a representative of the Antichrist. It's the two goats that are represented at Yom Kippur. One is chosen to be sacrificed for the Lord, and one is let free out into the wilderness. This story of the scapegoat on Yom Kippur has an incredible correlation to Passover. At the death of Jesus Christ, when the veil was rent and when Barabbas was set free. Barabbas was set free on Passover. And this is a correlation. So my line of thinking is that the Passover points to Yom Kippur as the second coming event or the rapture event. And then it would place the second coming on the Feast of Trumpets, which really the second coming is the coronation of the king. And so I think that the Lord has taken the feast days and going to give us a surprise. He's going to give us a surprise that the Feast of Trumpets is not the feast of the rapture. It's the Day of Atonement, which is God handing down the judgment of who are his and who are not his, of the wise and the foolish virgins, of the sheep and the goats, separating, right? The separation that will take place on the Day of Atonement. And this is the story of the Day of Atonement, the judgment that will come. So even though rapture is a beautiful scenario and a wedding that leads up to tabernacles, the decision and the cutoff, I believe, is the Day of Atonement. So I've been sharing about this since the middle of August. We can watch 10:10 for the crowning of the Antichrist. That is the Feast of Trumpets. That may be a day where a great sign will come about the rise of Antichrist, Barack Obama. There's a great study about the book being sealed on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, October 20th and 23rd, through 2018. And I've shared a number of videos over the last few weeks that are all pointing to October 20th as the true day of Yom Kippur. Even the fact that in 2018, adding an extra month on the calendar based on the fact that the March 17th was before the spring equinox. And so if that is the case where we would add on an extra month on the calendar, then when there is a leap year in Israel, it's called a pregnant year. A pregnant year. Now, isn't that interesting, since we have the Revelation 12 sign and we're waiting on the birth in the heavens, and they call a leap year a pregnant year. So that would fit perfectly that we have one extra month on the calendar. And then it also fits with the peace deal of the century being handed down before trumpets, before atonement. And we've got some things that are going to be happening over the coming weeks that are going to be bringing forth the final judgment, the seal on the judgment that is going to be coming. And part of that, I believe, is the division of Jerusalem coming out of the peace deal at the United Nations General Assembly. Okay, I shared other things about connection to October 23rd based on the Psalm 23, Psalm 46, how that adds up to 69. Then from October 23rd, there's 69 days left in the year. It's also the 296th day of the year. So there's a 296, 69, and that is a connection to DNA. In California, Proposition 69 is the DNA identification. So there's a connection to the number 69 and October 23rd. Why do I have October 23rd? But Yom Kippur is October 20th? Because of 80 days from the birthday of the Antichrist, 80-day birthing ritual that takes us to October 23rd. And what we have then is we have the Day of Atonement that may be the day of the Rapture. And October 23rd is the day of the rise of the Antichrist, or the incarnation of the Antichrist. So we have basically the rapture of the church. I'm seeing the rapture of the church on October 20th and the rise of Antichrist 3 days later. The wrath of God being poured out as Satan is cast down from heaven and incarnated by his host body, Barack Obama. So, this is the warning that I want to share with you tonight. Scott Clarke has a great following of people. Almost 100,000 subscribers. 230,000 views on his most recent video. But he comes out and says Rapture is not in 2018. So I don't want you guys to get gypped, because I believe Rapture is going to be in 2018. I believe we have arrived at the 70 years of Israel, at the final year of Jubilee. And in Leviticus 25:9, in Leviticus 25:9, it clearly says, "You shall cause the trumpet of Jubilee to sound. On the 10th day of the 7th month, in the Day of Atonement, you shall make the trumpet to sound throughout all your land." So if we are looking at the scripture and the year of Jubilee, then we need to understand that the day of the trumpet of Jubilee is the Day of Atonement. Okay? And I believe that the Feast of Trumpets is October 10th, and that the Day of Atonement is October 20th. And these are the days that we need to watch. And there may be a great sign that comes out on October 10th, and I think we all need to be watching and attentive to the news. And we need to be watching this peace deal of the century and the news that is coming out of the United Nations this week. very important time where they're going to be putting into motion final steps of the New World Order, the mark of the beast, the rise of the Antichrist, the chosen world leader, who was first anointed and set up by the United Nations through the Nobel Peace Prize. Because the Bible says that the Antichrist will come in peaceably. And so we have seen the rise of Antichrist going all the way back to 2007, when Oprah Winfrey said on Hanukkah, Barack Obama is the one. Then on Hanukkah in 2009, Barack Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize. So the signs have come on the feast days. On the Nobel Peace Prize in October of 2009, he was nominated for the Peace Prize. On the last day of Tabernacles, October 9th, 2009, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize on Hanukkah in 2009. He went to Israel on the day of the triumphal entry, March 22nd, 2013, on the day of the triumphal entry, Nisan 10, and signed the unbreakable alliance with Israel. The unbreakable alliance. And then 1,290 days after that, he was back in Israel for the funeral of Shimon Peres, September 30th, 2016. See, from the Nobel Peace Prize, there's 1,260 days to the triumphal entry date. Then there's 1,290 days, Barack Obama back in Israel for the funeral of Shimon Peres. And on day 1,335, November 17th, 2016, the beginning of the Revelation 12 sign. As Jupiter was just entering Virgo, this confirmed by a conception comet that went through Virgo exactly on November 17th, 2016. So this is leading us up to a birth event. The birth event of the Antichrist. And it's leading us up to the year of Jubilee. It's leading us up to the 70th year of Israel. And it's leading us up to the fall feast days. And in the year of Jubilee, the trumpet shall sound on the day of atonement. So I don't want you guys to get gypped, ripped off, confused, or disheartened. I want everybody to stay ready. My call to you tonight is to stay ready. Stay ready. The United Nations General Assembly is in session. Tomorrow there will be a great speech by Donald Trump. Let us listen to that and see what is being brought forth. Let us watch for the peace deal of the century and see what happens. And let us look forward to the fall feast days, starting on October 10th, the Feast of Trumpets, and going through the Day of Atonement on October 20th. This is my call to you. And this is my warning for those who are following the teaching of Scott Clarke, who says rapture is not in 2018. I think this is a grave, grave error that has the potential to lead many, many people astray. Okay, so this is my warning for you and my blessing tonight for you. And I ask you to listen to the testimony that the Lord has given to us. The trial of Job is over. God bless you. This is Steve Fletcher with the trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.